Well, my name is Kathy Burks, and I've been puppeteering for 45 years. So what that goes back to, whatever it goes back to.
Well, Kathy is my mom. When it started, I was a kid. We would perform, you know, for fun at first. And I was always interested in acting in the theater.
My name is Becky Burks Keenan, and I have been puppeteering for 48 years. I know it's our 45th anniversary, but I was 8 years old when we started.
So I found this friend of mine that had puppets. And I said, puppets? And she said, yes. And I said, well, may I, or do you teach? And she said, yes. So we started taking lessons from a lady named Linnea Lindsley. She lived in Oak Cliff. So we drove out there every Saturday and started taking lessons.
Sue Hastings, she was based in New York, but at the time, in the 30s and 40s, she was the biggest puppet company in the country. I mean, had many troupes going all over the country at once. And Linnea Lindsley was working for her. Linnea was a character. She was a former Ziegfeld Follies girl early in her career. She would play the violin and do high kicks, you know, and then she got into puppetry and worked for Sue Hastings for many years. And then when Sue retired, she sold the company to Linnea. And then Linnea and her husband, who both worked for Sue, moved to Texas.
And I looked up and all of these puppets were hanging from the ceiling, and then Becky wanted to have one of them, so I said, okay, I'll buy that. So I bought that, and I thought, she said, well, do I have another one and another one? And I said, well, sure. So then I talked to Linnea Lindsley, and I said, well, you know, how many do you have in there? Well, she had quite a few because there were so many hanging from the ceiling. And I said, well, so, and you know, I know that they're worth more than this, but I made her a very low offer. She took it. I said, why on earth are you taking that? She said, because your children are very talented. And she said, so are you, and you love it. And she said, these are the kind of people that I want to have these marionettes.
We are a family-based puppet troupe that has been around for 45 years, and we have brought joy and laughter into children and adults for a very, for a very long time. This world is a crazy world, and it's nice to be able to go in somewhere and just be entertained for 45 minutes to an hour and get lost in the story and the magic of the puppetry.
My name is Sally Fiorello, and like the theater, this season marks my 45th anniversary as a puppeteer with Kathy Burks Theater of Puppetry Arts.
My name is Bee Wolf, and I have been involved in puppeteering for 41 years. Well, the main roles have been as a writer, composer, music arranger, and then sometimes they let me do a little puppeteering.
I'm Trish Long, and I've been puppeteering with Kathy since 1981. So I guess that's approximately 36 years, a long time, a lot of my life.
I got a wonderful deal with Dr. Pepper, which I loved. I drank Dr. Pepper from the beginning of age 12. And so we started doing shows for Dr. Pepper. We were at the State Fair of Texas for maybe 4 years, 5 years. So it was great fun.
And I remember so well the very first show that I saw was Mighty Mole Superhero. And I remember watching the puppeteering thinking, that is amazing. That is something I've never seen before. They are so realistic, and I want to be a part of that. Little did I know I would be.
You know, that is such a hard question because they're all like my childhood friends, you know. I've grown up with these guys, but probably I have to say, like Mom, she talked about Winnie the Pooh. That was one of the first productions we did, and using the Sue Hastings original beautiful marionettes that were based on the A.A. Milne drawings. They're gorgeous, and I voiced Eeyore and puppeteered Eeyore, so that Eeyore puppet is probably my favorite.
We used Popeye the Sailor Man and Popeye's Fantastic Puppies. It's very big.
I love them. Yeah.
I liked Popeye.
One of my favorites has to be the Nutcracker for sure. Not a Creature Was Stirring, the Christmas show written by B. Wolf, original story by B. Wolf, which is just charming to me. Also, I think our Peter Rabbit production has to be right up there.
I do remember one time after we left the Haymarket Theater and we'd been touring a lot and we'd been away from the Dallas area sometime. And then we were asked to perform, I believe the venue was in Garland, I can't really remember. And we had created a show, a trilogy of shows for the Haymarket for Halloween. And Halloween was really big for us. And this trilogy of shows had the same characters in it. And people began to love them a lot. We started that performance out there. And the main character in that show walked out on stage, and she might as well have been a great Broadway actress because the entire audience broke into spontaneous applause.
The company is great, the people are crazy, and they build such a wonderful world for everyone to experience. It is a very interesting dynamic of being the newest and youngest person, but having so much in common and no fears, no hesitation, and I think that's been a big help because there are expectations to hold for a show, but they're also there. They're also not going to let you fall. They're going to make sure that you're standing correctly or in the right position, but also allow you to play with that.
She is my dearest friend and has been for all these 41 years. We both are musicians. We both have degrees in music. We both love music. We came to all these artistic things together. And Kathy is such a nurturer of creativity. She really is, in all of us.
She takes people under her wing. She just helps people that are lost. And I'm sure that I've ruined her serenity for many years growing up as a kid. And I've apologized, but she just takes people under her wing and helps them. I know when we had daycare centers, child development centers, she would help people get their GED. You know, she's just a very caring, loving person.
Kathy Burks is, first off, Mom, but so much more than that. To me, she inspired me to explore my artistic expression, you know? She never discouraged me. She always encouraged me to be creative. And I think that that is true for me and for my family and my sister, but for generations of children. And I think that Kathy Burks is a treasure.
Just so that I don't get too emotional about this, I'll just say Kathy she's a multi-talented person. She's a musician, she's a visual artist, she's a talented actress, puppeteer. But for as long as I can remember, she has had an incredible ability to attract other really talented people and to bring them together with really interesting ideas. And And by doing that, she's been able to create some really amazing works of art. And she's done that with puppetry, with live theater, and with musical experiences.
Well, I just feel so lucky to have met all of these 7 very talented people that are still working and still doing it and still performing and still creating. And that's exciting. That means a whole lot to me. And we want to preserve the puppets and their history because it's so important to the United States. They were created here. Sue Hastings Marionettes deserves to be taken care of and shown how wonderful early on it was. Sue Hastings was wonderful that she created. So I was just trying to maintain the history of it all.
A very long time ago, an author who wrote about Kathy penned her as the Pied Piper of puppetry. And I think that is so true. I know that at this point in my life, when I reflect and look back, I wanted to follow her. I wanted to follow her lead, her talent, her troupe's talent, and I wanted to be a part of that talent. So I truly believe she is the Pied Piper of puppetry.